the latest on where we stand right now and what is ahead today. Ian?
We're about a half hour out here for Tom Brady's appeals hearing. As you mentioned, some of the principals are starting to arrive. NFLPA lawyer Jeffrey Kessler did pull up a couple minutes ago. He is now heading Tom Brady's case after he took advice from his personal lawyers over the first few weeks and months of this. Presumably, the NFL side is, including Jeff Pass, the general counsel, is already inside. Roger Goodell is going to be serving as the judge and jury in this instance, in this case, which is going to sort of seem like a deposition in a boardroom. Goodell is going to be listening to both sides of this. He is already inside. And then Ted Wells, the author of the 240-plus page Ted Wells report, is also slated to be here today. Now, he is going to defend his report and discuss various aspects of it. Expect the NFLPA to come after that pretty hard. And there was a recent report by a Washington, D.C.-based lobbyist group called AEI that came down very hard on the science of the Wells report. That's going to figure prominently in today's hearing. Expect Ted Wells to go after that pretty hard. You mentioned what Tom Brady needs to do is prove his innocence. What is he going to bring to the table? As a league source tells me, if Tom Brady says the same thing today as he did to Ted Wells, his suspension will not change. How forthcoming will Tom Brady be?
And that obviously centers around whether or not he is willing to turn over emails and texts, I suppose. Ian, do we have any idea if he intends to do so?
At this point, we do not. The NFLPA and Tom Brady have been keeping it pretty close to the vest about what his actual game plan is heading into today. But remember, this appeals hearing is for Tom Brady. He is the one who needs to show that he's innocent. He's the one who needs to bring something new to the table. If he was not, simply having this appeals hearing to say, challenge the science of the Ted Wells report would not make sense. So that is what we're all watching for and waiting for. Will Tom Brady show his phone? Will he be forthright? What details will he add to Commissioner Roger Goodell, who has said he is very open and wants to hear face-to-face what Tom Brady has to say? That opportunity comes in a couple minutes.
What do we know about how this appeals hearing plays out? Is this a casual meeting where they sit in a room and they just chat about it and they ask whatever questions and then Tom Brady answers it? Or is it more formal, more like a legal proceeding? How do these work?
Yeah, my understanding, just talking to people who have been involved in these things, is it is more like a legal proceeding, more like a deposition where you hear from one side and then you hear from the other side. Not generally combative, mostly two sides presenting parallel arguments one at a time, and then each side will get a rebuttal, and then Roger Goodell, the appeals officer in this case, will make his decision, not today, but in a couple weeks. The hope from those involved is that it will be before training camp. All of that being said, one source described this to me as Ted Wells versus Jeffrey Kessler. Well, if that is the case, then maybe it gets a little more combative and interesting than these appeals hearings generally are.
And I'm sure that all parties will be asked to keep this information close to the vest. We'll see if anything leaks out by the end of the day. If it in fact does, I'm sure that Ian Rapoport will pass that along to us. Thank you very much.